Are customers demanding new things from distributors?
Let's break customers down two ways. One is you get the contractor customer. The contractor customer's needs, for the most part, are comparable to what they've been before, although with a little bit more focus on performance. They still need whatever their request is to be in stock, delivered on time. They want invoices to be accurate, and they want it, quote-unquote, at the best price. And the reason I say quote-unquote is there's a lot of things that can come into that, and frequently, as long as the distributor is within a couple of percentage points and they offer some value added or have strong performance metrics with that contractor, they can win the business. Sometimes you got to get to the bottom penny. Some contractors look for some value-added services. It may relate to kitting. It may relate to staging deliveries. Sometimes training is important to them. But every contract is a little bit different. But the contractor still wants to be the face to the end customer, still wants to provide the service to the end customer. Contractors are all trying to do more with less. A number of the bigger ones are using more of the e-tools to go directly into their estimating systems to cut costs out of the process for them. On the industrial side, when you get to the industrial end users, their needs have changed more so. They've had reductions in force on their side. More industrial work has been outsourced to contractors, so you've got less people inside the facility. But their top issues, they're focusing on worker safety, reliability, reducing the long-term maintenance, and they're looking at energy issues. So they're focusing more and more on business issues and how a distributor can help them solve their problems. That's more accelerated than it ever has been before. And they want to see the services and solutions, and the focus that has been on price, especially as it relates to national accounts, we've seen less of that over the last year or two, and less of the focus on the auctions, because they've realized if they can't get the service, if they can't get the training, that doesn't help them. The savings in price did not drop to the bottom line. So their focus has changed in that regards.
What kind of operational support are customers wanting?
On the industrial side, they still need the on-time delivery, because if they need something today, inevitably it's because a piece of equipment is down, and with the end users, they're willing to pay additional for that. One of the historical challenges for distributors is being willing to charge for emergency-type services or value-added services, and the end user is willing to pay for those value-added. So they're looking at the on-time deliveries. They're looking at the order accuracies. They're looking at more after-order sales support. They need fill rates. They're looking for more online stuff, too. And we've done some other research, even when you get into the architect and engineer viewpoints, that 84% of engineers, their first stop when they're trying to find information is the web. So that creates opportunities for distributors with their end users that have more and more of that information right there. On the contractor side, as I said, they're looking at more of the transactional natures from a support viewpoint, which gets into the delivery, the order accuracy, the fill rates, the pricing, those type of issues. And contractors are less brand-oriented than end users. The contractor's primary focus is getting his transactional needs, and if everything is equal, he'll go to his preferred distributor. But he will not go out of his way to find a particular brand unless that brand is really required and specified by the end user.
Well, you've mentioned repeatedly that more people are going online, not just to do purchasing, but also to do research. Where is distribution in the e-commerce and electronic world right now?
Distribution is all over the board. There are some distributors who haven't changed their websites in 10 years, and then you've got people like a Grainger who invest heavily into it. I saw some statistics that Grainger and MSC were generating between 25 and 30% of their revenue through their websites. We recently did some research in the electrical industry at industrial end users, and we found that 70% of the audience was purchasing online of some electrical material just through websites. And you've got companies like Automation Direct that essentially their entire business model is based upon online purchasing. So e-purchasing in the industrial side continues to accelerate. Sometimes that's within a distributor's existing customer base, and it's really just an alternative order entry system, but it's also a less expensive order entry system for a distributor. Slowly they're picking up some business from non-customers. We're seeing more that's happening with some e-catalogs and some better attributed data that is slowly coming about. Then on the contractor side, that's still a little bit of a challenge. What we're seeing more on the contractor side is people using some services like a trade service where they've created a system where a contractor can basically upload a bill of materials and his selected distributors can provide estimates on that, and it goes right back into the contractor's system. That's still an e-scenario, but it's just not online purchasing. It's ways of getting costs out of the system. And then on the industrial side, the other thing we're seeing more and more of is usage of EDI and procurement systems that are integrated into the end user system. And then the other thing we're seeing is people want more robust websites so that it's a one-stop shop to get information.
So what do distributors need to do to get to the point where they're meeting the needs of their customers?
First thing they should do is, instead of guessing, they should be asking. They need to go out and survey their customers, whether they're contractors or end users, and find out what their current behaviors are, what they would like, and then also what they would like from them. Once they have that, then they can start developing a game plan. There are some elements, and a lot of it comes down to where a distributor stands as it relates to their ERP system. Does their ERP system have a good electronic storefront scenario is number one. Is the navigation of that good? Is the searching functionality of it good? Number two is how much content do they want to put onto the site, and where are they going to get that content? But simultaneously, they can be creating a robust front end of the system that has value-added information for their customers, can have calculators, they can set up private communities where there's forums and Q&A opportunities. They can put on things like the instant chat where customer service can now be real time. There's a lot of functionality that can be added. A lot of it, quite frankly, doesn't have to be expensive. Probably the most expensive part really becomes having someone who can keep the content fresh and provide new information on a regular basis and just update the site. And one of the other things we've seen with websites is a lot of people don't do a good job of promoting their site. If people don't know your site is refreshed and has valuable content, how are they ever going to go there? So you got to treat it as a product and integrate it into your overall marketing strategy and continually communicate the benefits of it.
Sounds like there's a lot going on in the distribution world right now. A lot of changes taking place in a lot of different areas.
It's an exciting time for the industry. It's a challenging time for some people. It's a scary time for some people because they've been in the business 30, 40, 50 years. Their father may have started the business, and where do they want to take it next? That's a big challenge for a lot of distributors. There are also those who see it as a huge opportunity and have the financial wherewithal to take advantage of it. And as I said, on the manufacturer side, they're sitting there and saying, how is this going to impact me? And in some cases, trying to play multiple angles of it so that they can position themselves with those who they think are going to be successful long term, but still sell the ones who are maybe going to be sold in the next year or two. I think over the next couple of years, the rate of acquisitions will change. Everyone always talks about lots of acquisitions in the industries, but when you look at the number of distributors in any of the segments, and something like electrical where there's over 3,000 distributors, a lot of acquisitions historically has only been 30, 40, 50 a year. It's nothing that's going to happen overnight, but if the more influential distributors, the ones who have that middle, who are between the 100 and 500 million, start going away, that's significantly impacting a distributor. And you could even see some of the national chains be sold to other conglomerates that may either own distribution or have other services that they sell to end users. We're hearing some rumors and some of those things too.
Something we're going to definitely have to keep an eye on. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.